Hey peeps, we're gonna try and go fast in this. All right, so what are classes? Well, a class is a instance of an object basically that we can create inside of our program that we can basically create multiple different copies of it. Yeah, like as opposed to if we just had like a fixed array with like 5, that means we could only have like 5 different instances. In that case, in this case, we can actually create as many as we want that our memory can actually hold. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and really jump into this, boop, and we're going to do our constructor here. We'll go ahead and do print line, whoops, print line called constructor. And then I'm just going to go down here, whoops, and boopity boop boop. Print line to boops are reals. I'll go in here. Oops. Boop. Pity. Boop. Boop. I could have picked a better name that wasn't so hard to type out. Boop. Boop. It's uppercase, right? Yeah, uppercase. Okay. I'm sabotaging myself here by making these names. Okay, I'm just gonna put print line boops here. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, this is essentially the template for our class. Now this is going to be basically copied and pasted throughout our program every time it's used. So it goes boop, and then boop, through our code here. But it doesn't show like this. It actually is smart and it will create, its own copy without us having to do anything fancy like that. So what's going to happen here? Well, you might think that when I run this, it's going to run this call constructor, and then it'll run to boops are real, and then I'll run this boops. Well, what will actually happen in this case, which we'll see in just a sec, is it will run boops, and then it will. Oh wait, I need to restart my game, don't I? I do. Just remembered. I'm gonna do that. Start game. Let's do this. Oops. Okay, so what's actually going to happen is it's just going to run this boops, and it's not going to run anything else here. And that's because this is a template, and the only thing that runs here once is going excuse me, is going to be this template. And this template is, like we're going to put like our, properties for it down here. Like I could have like, like health or X or Y, which you're going to see in a bit. But in this case, I'm using test. Well, you can see that it just run boops here. So what we got to do is we actually got to tell the game that we want to create it. So I'm going to do local cake is equal to boop. Now what did I do here? Well, boop is going to be the name of our class. Excuse me. So you can see that we're essentially running it the same way we would a function here, and it's going to call to this. So if I put, for instance, a 5 here, and then I put pi here, that would set the value of 5, and it would put it into pi, and then we could use it in here the same way we could do in a function, but we're not going to do that right now. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and run this code again here. Boom. And you'll see that this time we run boops, and we do... Oh, crap. See, I said I was sabotaging myself. I said it. Okay, hold on. Try this again. Okay, now you see we run boops, call constructor, and to boops are reals. Okay, so what's happening? Inside of our code, we first run the template here, because that runs when we first start this. And then once we call our instance and tell it to create this new instance and put inside cake, we go into our constructor, we run call constructor, and then we run this method here, which runs this right here. And then it says the boops are real. Okay, so if we go ahead, excuse me, and we set cake is equal to boop here, what are we doing? Well, we're essentially getting rid of this here because it was inside of this, and nothing else is connected to this instance anymore. So it's gone. So now we're creating this new one here, and we're putting this inside cake. So what's going to happen here? Well, we're going to go ahead and run our boops once, and then you'll see that we'll run the class twice here. So you'll see there's one boops, and then call constructor to boops or reals, call constructor to boops or reals. Okay, so what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that if we put a function inside of this area here, it only runs once. So very important. We don't want to put, like our variable, values inside of here. We want to put it inside the constructor. So I want to put test is equal to, let's just put it hello. Now this isn't true for all things, because some of them don't have like pointers and stuff, so it gets complicated, but general rule is we want to keep it inside of our constructor. Excuse me. Okay, so excuse me. Ugh, that's annoying. We're not going to go over a whole bunch of other stuff here. I want to try and keep this short. And I've been talking so much that my throat's starting to mess up. What are we gonna do? Okay, you know what? Let's just do this one. So you can see here that I have a entity class here. This is going to be an example of how to show inherited classes. So class entity class. Let's say we had a video game and we wanted to create an entity class, which is a base entity class for it. So constructor, class name, and then let's see, let's put class name is equal to underscore class name. I want to make sure that the names are separate here so we don't get it confused. And then the actual property variable here is going to be this. So you can see here that we have our entity class. So then if I did local, call it cake is equal to entity class, entity class, and then call it cake, I guess, for now. So then if I do a print line, and I just put in cake dot class name, it should print out cake. So we'll go ahead and run this really quick here. And you can see that we did in fact print out cake. Okay. Whoopsies. Come on, get up there. Okay, so moving right along here. This is, just like a simple class like you saw before. What happens if we want to make it more advanced? Well, let's say that in our game we wanted to have a class that was actually placeable in the video game for like XY position. So if we do entity placeable, and we extend the entity class, make sure it's extends, not extend. What does this do? Well, this basically takes what we have inside of here, and it will basically copy it into here without it being in here, visually in here. That probably didn't make any sense. But essentially what I can do here, if I do my constructor, and I put in, let's see, let's put X and Y. Pretty sure that's what I did in the other one. And then we do X is equal to null, and Y is equal to null here. Well, come on. And then I do these uppercase X is equal to underscore X here. And do Y is equal to underscore Y. Then we can create a actually let's add this as well, placeable. Placeable. Oops, no, not that. Okay, so what does this do? Well, instead of calling this, let's say we call our entity placeable, and instead of the class name, this takes our X and our Y. So let's set this to 50 and set this to 20. And we can go ahead and do let's just do it like this. We'll set this one to show our X and this one to show our Y. We could just, do like an append, but oh well. So what's this going to show off? This is going to show off that we're actually calling, excuse me, our class name is not placeable. It's our X is 50 and our Y is 20. And you can see that it's taking off a property of this variable we created. So this class instance, it has its own property values. And you can see that class name is actually inside of here. It's not actually inside of this area here. So what happens if I, for instance, change this to blah, 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 and then I'll just go ahead and copy this so we don't error out in here. Actually, we shouldn't error out in here because we're not calling the constructor anyway, but, we'll keep it consistent. Okay, so go ahead and save this. They actually didn't program vscripts very well, so we can't do fancy things like base. But you can see here an error has occurred. The instance class name does not exist at line 14. Well, line 14 is the line 14, the place where we try and set it in here. So you can see it's not in here. It was in here. So when we renamed this, the variable changed, and now it doesn't exist anymore. So it's basically showing that this is actually using this as a base for it to be off of. Okay. So, excuse me. We can also do more advanced things here. For instance, I decided to create a damageable class, but I'm going to show the player class first here. So really quick here, class, let's see, player class, and then constructor. Whoops, constructor. Oh man, I can't type. Okay, and inside of here, we'll have the health, like we have in here, the X and the Y. And then, excuse me, inside of here, we're setting health is equal to underscore health, X is equal to underscore X, Y is equal to underscore Y, and class name, it will be equal to, player. Okay, so now if I do this, I'll just copy and paste here and make it faster. That may have not even been faster. Let's see, let's set the health to 100. And then our X is 50 and the Y is 20. Okay, so now you'll see when you run this, health does not exist because I forgot to make it, didn't I? I did. Oopsies. Okay, so we need to create our health in here, obviously. So we'll set that to null. And then we'll run this. Okay, the index X does not exist. You know why it doesn't exist? Because I didn't extend it. So I need to actually extend entity placeable. Okay. Alright, so now you can see we have player and then 50, 20, and we don't actually show the health because I didn't actually set it to show the health. But we could also show the health here, which I think I'm actually going to do. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that as well. Okay, so print line, cake.health. And you can see here that it will show our health. So we'll go ahead and rerun that. Our health should be 100. And it is, so that's a class name, XY, and then health. Okay, good. So you can see that this is all linked together. But if we wanted to make, for instance, a game, which we definitely wouldn't want to do in vscripts, because this is just a terrible language, and we want to use base and all this other stuff, but we can't do it. Let's see, what are we going to do? Okay, yeah, let's just put this right here. So we'll call it our damageable class, and it extends our let's call it entity placeable. Okay, constructor, and let's see, we need, yeah, we'll say we need the X, the Y, and the health for this. Excuse me. Okay, so instead of putting the health in here now, I could, excuse me, I can put the health here, and then I will go ahead and set this player class to extend the damageable class instead here. Instead of here, I could do class name is equal to, we'll just call it damageable class, and then X is equal to X, oops, Y is equal to the Y, and don't think I have the other ones on there, so I don't need to do that one. No, I do. Health is equal to health. Okay. So, really quickly, we can run this, and we can show that now that the health isn't in here, it's in here, and we've extended this class here, this will all still work without errors. Watch it do an error. Oh, no, it worked. Okay, so player 50, 20, 100. Okay, so if we wanted to, do fancy things in a video game, we could also create a, for instance, let's do take damage. Take damage, do amount, and then let's see, health is minus equal to amount. All right, and then we could take this here, and let's see, let's go ahead and go down here and cake.take damage, and we'll set it to 50. And then we'll go ahead and do another print line, cake health. Go and rerun this. You'll see now that we show our health here, and then we do our take damage, and this will take the 50 health from us. You can see now that the health is 50. So we we can do all kinds of fancy different things with the classes. I did a whole bunch of other stuff here, but the video was like 37 minutes. Hopefully I'm not that long, because I haven't really explained a whole lot. But yeah, the class is very, very interesting. It's very limited in vscripts, so things like base and all that other stuff, you're not going to be able to do. Setting up the supers and all that stuff. Leave that to other languages. But you can do some pretty basic stuff for classes. They're very useful, even in vscripts. If you're like me, you'll probably use them quite a bit. And with that, peeps, we're going to go ahead and end it here. As out.